Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to the 2022 confirmation. Over the year, our class has discussed topics relating to our Jewish identity and connections to society and culture. Through reflection, we've developed our own definitions of Judaism. On this night, we gather to share these definitions with the congregation. Our ideas have manifested into art, writing, and music. Each piece shared tonight relates to the overarching theme, Jewish identity.
This time I'd like to call upon our confirmation class to join us near our Shabbat candles as they kindle and welcome us and bring more light into our sanctuary this evening.
It's really easy to become insecure about my Jewish identity because I don't have Shabbat dinner every Friday, I don't come to religious school as much as I'd like to, and I don't speak fluent Hebrew. A time when I haven't felt out of place was when I was at camp.
We decided to make a piece that showcases nature because of our connection to Jewish sleepaway camp. For us, our Jewish identity is being part of a community. We had members of this class put their own thumbprint on this tree so that everyone is connected with us.
Additionally, because we incorporated the Tree of Life, we wanted to show that everyone is not only connected, but connected through the shared aspect of being Jewish.
We wanted to make this piece representative of our identities and share what being Jewish means to us.
We continue with Kabbalat Shabbat on page 14 with Or Zarua. For Lachado D, rising at our third verse as we welcome the Sabbath bride. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. La 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 la. Likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad yishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad v'shem tiferet v'liti la la la. Kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Kiva orech kumiori, uri uri shidaberi. Kivod Adonai alayich nigla la 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 la. Lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Bori v'shalom atzeret bala gam b'simcha u'b'tzola. Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. La la la. Lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala b'nei b'nei Shabbat nikavela. You may be seated.
Identity is something that I used to not think much about, but I have grown and learned that it is essential to who we are and who we become. I thought identity was I am me, that's who I am. But it's so much more than that. I learned that you can never stop exploring who you are and how you identify in our society. I've been incredibly lucky to have multiple outlets where I have been able to explore my Jewish identity, whether it was attending camp, Hebrew school, BBYO, or some other opportunity. I've really learned so many things from putting myself out there. One thing that has really stuck out to me was hearing this quote from a countless number of people in BBYO, and that is, you get out what you put in. Seeing that I'm a part of this organization, I have seen how true this is firsthand. However, I didn't consider that it would be helpful outside of this organization. I have grown to see that this can be applied throughout the rest of my life. Being able to explore our Jewish identities is meaningful, but what we can learn from it is crucial to who we are.
We rise for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship, page 146. Page 149. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema
Please, this is our art piece. It's called Birds.
We made it to represent how our Jewish identities have grown. The birds are our class and surrounded by Jewish culture and the community, while the mother bird symbolizes the teachers and adults in our lives.
The bird on the edge of the nest is a representation of how not everyone has the same Jewish identity, but we are all still a part of the same community.
The nest represents the Jewish community. There are prayers like the Ve'ahavta in the nest, showing how we have been surrounded by Jewish culture throughout our lives, which has shaped our Jewish identities.
We decided to put Jewish foods in our art piece because food is a very central part of our religion.
Our class is like these little birds. Our identities have grown and changed, but we're all a part of the community. Please join us in chanting the Ve'ahavta on page 150.
Ve'ahavta
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה
אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטפטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להביא לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
When I think of my Jewish identity, I think of family, traditions, and memories. And with each tradition, there is always food. Whether it's homemade applesauce and latkes that we sometimes cheat and buy from Trader Joe's, chavosed at Passover, or making hamantashen at Purim, these recipes always bring back special memories. The most special of memories is the handing down of my great-grandmother's regular recipe. She taught my mom to make them, and a couple of years ago, my mom taught my brother and me using my great-grandmother's handwritten recipe that has been saved for over 30 years. I like knowing a part of my Jewish identity includes my ancestors in this unique way, and I will always think about my great-grandmother every time I eat regala.
Hello, my name is Landon Golding. Unfortunately, anti-Semitism is still a serious ongoing issue today, and oftentimes comes at unexpected times and from surprising places. Last year during COVID, my English class was doing an assignment to share their heroes. Before I could share mine, which was Anne Frank, another classmate blurted out Hitler. Although he was trying to be funny, I was outraged and offended. I reached out to my teacher to share what happened, which ultimately led to the other student calling me to apologize. I realized how important that discussion was so that I could help him understand the impact and ultimately help him learn a valuable lesson. It is important to be brave, find your voice, and say something when you are experiencing something uncomfortable. We can all benefit from learning from one another.
I think this year, our class began their 9th grade year. Like many other freshmen and many other students, they began it online. In fact, they learned with Jessica Kretzer all year long online and still made it beautiful and valuable. And then this year we had a wave of here and online and here again, and they continue to be resilient and persevere. And like the images that they displayed, they've gone from narrowness to expansiveness. This year these past couple of years that seemed so constricted, they've opened up. And they've come to understand what confirming an identity really means. And confirmation is about that. It's confirming one's faith, one's identity, one's actions. Not only just to read it from a book or a scroll, but to act upon it. And so, Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you among all the other gods that are worshipped, as we join on page 152, this opportunity to understand what our students model, what they represent, and what we hold as well, as not only, as we just heard, was said, but also in terms of what Landon shared, but also in terms of what our capacity is to stand up and bring more expansiveness to this world. We join together.
Shkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom. Ve'ha'amidenu shomrenu L'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us not wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 Amen.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם לריתומם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לריתומם.
בני ישראל
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לריתומם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לריתומם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לריתומם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם לריתומם. וביום השביעי שבת ויינפש Shabbat vayinavash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam
My art is a dragon with holding a Jewish star. Dragons live through storytelling and the power of storytelling, being passed down through millennia as stories, myths, and legends. The history of Judaism has survived a similar way, being passed down from person to person by word of mouth through stories and legends, such as the parting of the Red Sea. This tale has been written down in books countless times, but before then, it was passed down through millennia simply through the word of mouth. The story of the parting of the Red Sea had been passed down through millennia simply by the power of storytelling. Jewish history has survived through stories, same as dragons, being passed down from person to person until today. And because of that, dragons live on as proud symbols of terror, justice, good luck, and many, many other things, while Judaism continues to live on as a religion and a people.
We continue with our Amidah starting on page 155. We invite you all to please rise as you're able.
Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד אתה. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממיץ ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל.
Please be seated.
My painting is the Western Wall. I painted the Western Wall as a representation of something important to the Jewish identity and community. The wall is a symbol of having a home in Jerusalem. I decided to paint this to represent people's prayers. My original plan was to make each piece of paper individual, but I decided to change it because I wanted to show that even though we have our own prayers and desires, we are all connected. This is a place where no matter how a person practices Judaism, for example, Orthodox, Reform, Hasidic, Conservative, etc., everyone is welcome. The Jewish people have been praying here for a very long time, and in a way, this connects us to our ancestors and the people before us.
We take a few moments for silent prayer and reflection.
As a class, we decided to incorporate American Sign Language into this next song so everyone here can participate.
We also take this opportunity to recognize the signs that are surrounding our community that may be seen or perhaps unseen. Those signs of hurt, those signs of need of healing. Within our community this Shabbat, we are thinking of Nicole Ahadian, Ari Zalman Leib, Ben Shoshana V'Moshe, Bob Berenson, Dina Leah Bat Zohara, Lauren Berman, Grayson DeNovo, Samantha Farish, Dr. Robert Fox, Jessica Lynn Friedman, Denise Garrick, Nancy Gordon, Elliot Goldstein, Robert Gruder, Alan Habenstock, Scott Hilberg, Ellen Hutt, Beth Johnson, Ruthie Jordan, Michael Kinnaman, Richard Kitson, Hadass Kramer Najari, Marshall J. Lewis, Nechama Bat Raphael, Claudia Liebenson, Maria Luro, Michal Liran Bat Yael, Jim McIndoe, Yoram Minas, Ala Nadenova, Lynn Richard, Sharon Ritter, Galina Rubelchenko, Jenny Schnitzer, Rhonda Schwartz, Ilana Schaefer, Bernard Stein, Seth Streichler, Lynn Slotkin, Bob Shearer, Cindy Spector, Gerald Trimble, David Tossman, Fred Valfer, Kathy Weil, John Weil, Eric Winston, George Wise, and Todd Villa. Perhaps there's a name on your heart. I invite you to share that name with our community as our eyes meet, and it is okay if we say more than one name at a time. We join together in our prayer for healing, page 253.
Amen.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Confirmands of 5782. Mazel tov. You made it. To say this has been an odd year is putting it mildly. We began this year with high hopes. And though we also had high hopes for the experiences that we might do together, such as going to Washington, D.C. with the RAC, each of you has truly fulfilled the hope we had in each of you. Each of you approached our classes with a full and an open heart. You dialogued with passion. And you truly heard other voices. You pivoted, and you were empathetic to those pivots. It may seem a bit odd consecrating this moment. You are the first class in 3 years that is having their confirmation service in person and at its normal time. And yet, there is something about this moment that doesn't feel like an end. And that's a good thing. I know each of you is going to continue to be involved in Beth Israel and continue to serve the Jewish people with grace, with zeal, and compassion. I know we're going to see Israel together this December and share a truly transformative experience. And to help with that transformative experience, you'll be receiving a gift tonight, a gift of a birkon, a small prayer book which will include prayers and blessings and readings for traveling to Israel. Keep it close, put it somewhere safe, because we'll be using this on our trip together. I also know that that it is important that we mark this time and acknowledge each of you. We acknowledge that each of you in your own way has confirmed who you are as a Jew at this moment. That confirmation alone is worth celebrating. And you are a confirmation class worthy of celebration. Confirmands of 5782. Mazel tov. You made it.
Just as Rabbi Gimbel said, we both had the opportunity to share in this moment. These moments that don't only include us, but include all of the teachers and the educators that came before you. Each one of them has an imprint, no matter where you came from. Perhaps you just moved here a few years ago. Perhaps you've been here all your life. The journey has been ever evolving. And the journey of becoming ... is what you're intended to make of it. This moment is just a blink in the eye of what is ahead for you. And we don't know what that's going to look like. But I can tell you this. Even in my generation, which is just one above yours, this may be a few above yours. So I was trying. In this moment that I remember standing as I became a confirmand, that the world was very different. The world looked different. Being a Jew was different, had a different meaning. You're coming into a legacy, a beautiful, beautiful, painful, powerful legacy that's going to be filled with uphill battles on college campus. It's going to be filled with some derogatory words that may be shared your way. This moment should serve as one of those milestones where you remember, here's what I stand for in front of the ark, along with your rabbis, here to guide you and to also be with you in this moment. To know that for who you are and what you stand as a young Jewish individual in this world is critical. We need your voices. We need your heart. We need your soulfulness to transcend the road that we don't know what it's going to look like. It's the midbar. But I believe with all of you, each of you, you will make it beautiful, you will make it bright, and you will make it your own. So we have these words for you to share on this blessing, this Mishaberach of confirmation. And then your three rabbis have the opportunity to bestow an ancient blessing upon you in this moment. Mishaberach imotenu v'avotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors before us bring blessing upon this group of committed learners of Torah and of Jewish life. They lead us tonight. Their culmination of this year of study, knowing that it will continue to illuminate brightly as they search for Jewish truth and spirit, and it continues to ever grow. As they incite us with their own personal connections to Jewish life and living, and how it animates their own identities, here in front of their Beth Israel family this evening, surrounding them in love and in blessing. And as your journey continues to unfold, may each of you know your continuous engagement and learning continues to inspire us all. As we celebrate this chapter in this moment, embraced by your congregation and community, may you always know, with many sacred discoveries down the road ahead, this new chapter of living begins, and I know it's already off to a great start. So in health and wholeness, with sweetness and goodness, may God's presence continue to be with each of you as we celebrate your commitment tonight for years and years, a lifetime of living and learning yet to come. May this be God's will as we say, Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to invite you to come in a little closer. Place our arms around each other.
It has been a privilege to grow up with many of you and to watch the rest of you this evening, and a privilege to bless you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May you receive God's light of grace and light.
May God's presence ever be with each and every one of you. May you be granted health and joy and long life, the courage to fill that life with much joy, with much blessing, and always peace. We say, Amen.
Amen.
Why don't you take one of these? And pass these out. In our congregation, we have many, many beautiful opportunities that continue, that grow, that become part of the fabric of this Beth Israel community. And we have others that spring up and that we renew, that excite us. And tonight we are excited to unveil our inaugural, what we call 18 Under 18 presentation. I'd like to call upon our Director of Education, Rose Orlovich, and our Youth Director, for Charlotte, as you come up to the bima, Charlotte Stern, as we come to the bima this evening to present our 18 Under 18.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom. Well, we are here to present to you our 18 Under 18, and I would just like to say there's 18 of them. Under what age do you think? 18, great. We were a little quiet. I just want to make sure we're all here. So So through 18 Under 18, we were able to highlight our young, inspiring role models that we have here at Beth Israel. It stretches all the way from our kindergarten class to our high schoolers. They have been guided by their Jewish values and have strived to create a better community and the world that they live in. Each of these members have made a huge difference in San Diego's community through active involvement in nonprofit organizations, volunteer groups, and their own personal endeavors. We are lucky enough to have some of them here with us actually this evening to personally receive their awards. So when your name is called, please feel free to come on up and collect your certificate from Rose. Our first is Justin Engert. Justin, through countless hours, has applied his leadership skills in operating religious groups as our past biddy president, aiding with students in need through peer tutoring and dispelling cultural stereotypes through his cultural club, Cultural Fusion District, which has gained not only national but also international attention. You might have seen it on your TikTok feed. Great job, Justin. Feel free to give him an applause. Great sweatshirt. Good job. Our next is Michaela Weinstein. After seeing what was going on with the Ukrainian refugees here in San Diego, Michaela personally raised over $600 for JFS Ukraine Refuge Fund by creating unique jewelry and selling it to others, and has involved some of her friends in the process. Woo-hoo! Talia Wendell is next. I believe I saw Talia. Thank you. Talia's dedication to inclusivity started at a young age and has continued on through Team Talia and the Charge Syndrome Foundation. Talia has raised over $100,000 for Rady Children's Hospital and continues to show her love, support, and kindness to others being cared for in the hospital. Katie Ditter is next. Someone getting confirmed. Through the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, Katie led a team of high school students in raising close to $40,000 through a 7-week campaign. Her team, Answer for Cancer, raised the most money in San Diego, and she was named Student of the Year for her efforts. Gabby Herman. Here she comes. Gabby is a member of the Jewish Federation's Peer Leadership Fellows. As a fellow, she connects and converses with Jewish teens, using her training in survey analytics to understand how to improve the Jewish experience. She also worked to improve the accuracy of K-12 instruction and instructional materials about Jews, Judaism, Jewish history, and Israel in the United States. Good for Gabby. Cole Spector is next. I saw him, yep. Cole has made a monumental impact on his community through his project, Pals for Pals, which partners members with ALS patients, being a founding participant in the Urban Planning Youth Council, whose mission is to encourage the inner city youth to be a voice and leader in their local city's planning and decision-making process by seeking environmental justice, sustainability, and equity for all communities. And our last member who's here this evening is Zachary Hobbenstock. Ooh. At the height of the pandemic, Zachary brought friends together to create cards for those working in the front lines and being cared for in the hospitals. His acts of service continue through bake sales, volunteering at the Hunter Project, JFS, and local cleanup days. Thank you, Zachary. And then for those that haven't been here, we're still going to read off their names because they also did amazing things. We could give applause to everyone at the end. Mara Goodman, Charlotte Breyer, Amelia Callahan, Danielle Boodman, Savannah Keith, Isabella Fink, Sophie Callahan, Sammy Eisenberg, Abigail Weissman, Vanessa Berkowitz, and Emma Kiven. So thank you everyone for your valiant efforts and volunteering. We can't wait to see more of you.
It's quite the act to follow. Shabbat Shalom. My name's Kevin Berkowitz. I humbly serve as a member of your board of directors. I'm joined on the Bima tonight by Sarah Garrick, who's also a member of our board of directors. My pleasure to welcome you to this very special service tonight and to celebrate along with all the confirmants and their families this evening. I'd like to also thank the Men's Club for ushering our service tonight and remind you that everything you need to know about Beth Israel, our wonderful set of programs and opportunities to engage, is on our website at cbisd.org. As we start our Shabbat and think about what Shabbat means, I'd like to share a thought from Rabbi Lori Foreman. Shabbat means we drown boundaries and say no to the many things that take up our time and attention for 6 days a week. By embracing Shabbat, we say yes to our friends, families, and ourselves with whom we get to spend uninterrupted time. I'd like to give a very special mazel tov to our confirmants on behalf of myself and the entire board of directors. I've been really impressed just listening tonight by their tremendous accomplishments and your sharing of what Judaism really means to you. I'd also like to remind everyone that next week we have a very special program, our Shabbat Under the Stars program, next Shabbat. And if you need information on that, once again, cbisd.org is your friend, and I'd encourage you to participate and register. Thank you all, and Shabbat Shalom.
There are many communities where students and our youth do so much. They do a lot in every community. There's something very special about our Beth Israel community. You can see just a sampling tonight of the incredible work, volunteerism, thoughtfulness, continuing learning, the work of guiding our younger children in their learning. All of this is part of the fabric of this community, and it's something for all of us to be incredibly proud of, because we see them come back, we see them on college campuses and beyond, we see them as young Jewish professionals working in the world, whether in San Diego or other places throughout the United States or throughout the world. It is a gift, and it is a blessing and honor to be serving as one of the rabbis in order to help guide this incredible youth community into their next chapters.
We have been counting since the second night of Passover, 7 weeks, so that we can be ready and worthy to accept our Torah, our commandments. And as Rabbi Gimbel might like to say, we have made it. So this evening we count for the omer. We have a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. And then we count. Hayom tisha v'arba'im yom shehem shiv'a shavuot la'omer. Today is 49 days, which is 7 weeks of the omer. Tomorrow night is the holiday of Shavuot, and we hope that you will come and celebrate with us and learn with us and rejoice, and on Sunday morning to come and pray with us and rejoice, and also to grieve for our Yizkor services as well. As we conclude our service, we rise for Aleinu, page 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
Please be seated. Please turn to 294. We are thinking of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. When you hear the names of your loved ones, we invite you to rise so that we may comfort you as a community. I'm sad to announce the recent death of Scott Hilberg, father of Jacob, fiancé of Stephanie Lehman, and her children Izzy and Ian. And Eduard Tinku, friend of John Lefter. We are in the period of Shloshim, the 30 days after the burial, for Judith Janin, Dolores Dickstein, Harriet Dixon, and Gilbert Gersenfish. And we remember those who died at this time in years past. Claire Abulafia, Irving Adler, Helen Aronson, Suzanne Baker, Blanche Bessoner, Douglas Blank, Samuel Buchner, Anita Burgess, Irving Clamage, Jean Clamage, Bora Codner, Samuel Coyne, Estelle Dobbs, Annie Efron, Pearl Elkind, George W. Farber, Benjamin Filterman, Beatrice Galper, Nathan Ginsberg, Betty Gleicher, Howard Glenn, Jeanette Goldberg, Mila Gross Goldberg, Sadie Goldman, Catherine L. Griffin, Diane Hallberg, Ida Haralick, William Harris, Jerome Harris, Randy Modell Helsel, Jerry Hirschfeld, Ruth Hirth, Morris Hyman, Chester Jones, Louis Kaplan, Annie Kaplan, Louis Koppelman, David Kritzik, Jean Kurnow, Samuel Levinson, Arthur Levinson, James Lieberman, Rose Lieberman, Natalie Lieberman, Jerry Lippett, Bernie Lips, Virginia Lyons, Charlotte Mainzer, Rusty Maltzman, Leon Mann, Annabelle Marshall, Nathan Nadell, Max Nelson, Ruth Nelson, Max Nemitz, Sarah Norens, Morris Orenstein, Ernest Papelbaum, Gertrude Perrell, Sarah Platt, Alfred Polland, Paul Elliott Polson, Albert Premack, Harriet Press, Rose Rady, James H. Rosenberg, Robert Rosenberg, Louis Rosenwald, Miriam Rubin, Richard Ruman, Ruth Ruman, Uzi Zadok, Alan Sipowith, Sonia Schoen, Jean Schoenberg, Jill Schwartz, Claire Sider, Joyce Simon, Cookie Harlan Serwin, William Chavel, Yuri Shamalov, Bruce Spear, Blanche Spector, Celia Marcus Speart, Ivar Stockgold, Robert Temkin, Henry Thaler, Philip Weinstein, Alice Wolfe, Lois Zine, Bertha Zamora, and Berta Zucker. If there's any other names and I have not called them, please rise and share with us as I come around the congregation. Would you all please rise as together we read our Kadisha Tome, page 294. Itkadal v'itkadash shmei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'v'chayei Beit Israel, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itpa'ar v'tromam v'itnaseh v'itadar v'itale v'talal shmed kutsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav Hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. Would like to thank our musicians, because without music, our services would not be what they are. Grateful.
Every year, with our confirmation class, we ask them to take a personal accounting of their Jewish identities at the beginning and the end of the year. In the past, we've had them rewrite the poem, I Am a Jew Because. Other times, we've asked them to write 6-word memoirs of their Jewish identity. This year, we asked them to write their Jewish social media bio. So our confirmation class of 5782 would like to present each of their social media bios.
My favorite song is Holla Batgirl by Gwen Stefani, and Mensch on a Bench is better than Elf on the Shelf.
Cece.
Looking out for me. Oh, looking out for me, looking out for you, looking out for all my fellow Jews. Shalom.
Sorry. Matzo jelly sandwiches only taste good the first time you eat them. The other 7 times are mediocre at best.
Ethan.
Just because my dad is a senior rabbi doesn't mean they're knowledgeable.
Jenna.
My last name's Spitzberg. Can you tell I'm Jewish?
Katie.
I'm the reigning champ of Jewish cahoots.
Lucy.
Lighting candles every Shabbat doesn't make fire any safer. I'm a Jew through and through. It helps me when I feel blue.
2019 Sunrise Masada B'nai Mitzvah Best Memory Ever.
Yes, I know my last name isn't Jewish.
You know you are Jewish when Yiddish has become a part of your daily vocabulary.
Hanukkah's my favorite holiday. The Prince of Egypt is my favorite movie. All hail Hanukkah.
I'm here for the challah and the matzah.
We join together in our closing song, L'Dor Vador. We are gifts, and we are blessings. We are histories. We are hope, and we are healing. We are worthy to be strong. We are words, and we are stories. We are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the past and not the past. Door by door, I keep going back. Door by door, we protect this chain. Generation to generation. Door by door, these lips will praise your name. On the journey that we carry in our heart, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed, we are holy. We are children of your way, and the words that bring us healing, we will have the strength to say. Door by door, nagit the door by door, we protect this chain. Generation to generation. The door by door, these lips will praise your name. The door by door, these lips will praise your name.
And we say once again, Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov!
say Shabbat Shalom to someone next to you, behind you, around you. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom. As we join together for Motzi.
Before we offer Motzi, if you enjoyed the art or you want a closer if you want a closer look at the art that was presented, it's in our foyer, so please, it's beautiful art, give it a look. You'll notice all the little beautiful details. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'tei avon, mazel tov.
Mazel tov. For those confirmation families joining us across the way for our Shabbat dinner, Shabbat Shalom.